back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a old sketchbooks flip through. I have some of my sketchbooks from last year and the year before it, and a couple of pieces that I've done throughout that aren't necessarily in my sketchbook. So I used to use my sketchbook a lot in around 2019, 2018 especially. So I thought I'd have a quick look through with you. So this is a moleskin sketchbook. It's really worn out. I had this phase where I was obsessed with moleskin sketchbooks that were A4. So this one dates from January to April 2019. And so obviously I didn't do anything with the front page. I for some reason can't. I feel like it's wrong. And I always leave the first two pages sometimes because I feel like it kind of takes the pressure off. And then, sorry, this was the first page. I was trying out this new, my style at the time, which was these really detailed pieces. My style used to look very detailed and kind of melancholic at the same time, which I really enjoyed. I had just started using markers, and you can pretty much see the progression of this type of style throughout the sketchbook. This is a illustration from I follow Lazy Oaf on Instagram, and I love their models, so I tried drawing one of them. And this is, I think, one of the first kind of realistic interpretations that I started doing. I really wasn't expecting it to turn out this way, but I was really pleased at the time because I was really insecure about my own drawing style back then. And then this is when I used to work at this performing academy, and I used to have my desk and everything, so I drew my space. And this actually initially was supposed to be my legs and my sketchbook and my bed, but then it kind of turned into this girl and her body, which I really love actually. I kind of miss the style sometimes because I feel like it was so unique, but I think I like the way my style is right now. And then I wrote this little quote on January 17th saying, "How do we know what we really want?" And then a lot of my work throughout my sketchbook is quite cryptic. I have these little notes that, to be honest, I don't even think I remember what I was going through at the time. And this was on January 18. I was apparently procrastinating and thinking this is love. And I was listening a lot to Janelle Monáe. This is a quote actually from Dirty Computer, the album. This is another Instagram model. I found her. I think this post is actually on my Instagram, but I can't for the life of me remember what her name was. But she is very pretty, but I don't think I did her justice. And this is when I was first starting to do some comics. I think this is an actual comic on my Instagram right now called something about not getting over something that you thought you were over or whatever. And this is pretty much actually used to be my old kind of the way that I used to work on comics, which I kind of miss, I'm not gonna lie. This kind of makes me feel a little nostalgic. I used to write these little notes, and my therapist used to tell me when I used to have my therapy notebook. And this is when I started. I was in a Abolish 153, which is an organization in Kuwait. I was a part of their 2019 exhibition, and this was me kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to make it about. And this is one of my favorite pieces, actually. It was just spur of the moment, and I love when those kind of things happen. I felt really creative in those moments, and I think I posted a time lapse on my Instagram. And I think the quote here says, "It was honestly meh, it would have never worked out. Be strong." Like I said, these are very cryptic. I'm not really sure why. And this was based off a song by Bruno Major, I think his name is. It's called "The Places We Won't Walk," and I started basically drawing out the places that I felt like I wouldn't walk because of certain memories that I had at the time. So yeah. And this is another piece. This is a recurring theme throughout the sketchbook where I create these large kind of A4 marker pieces that were, again, very cryptic and very kind of realistic of what I was going through at the time. Apparently I was listening to Where It All Went Wrong in my own head, and I think this is Purple Rain by Prince. I wrote a lot of songs in here. I worked on this in a Kuwait history class. Yeah, it was fun. I think I was very loud with my markers though. It's a Conan Gray song, and yeah. And this was basically the work for a piece that I had. I took it out of my sketchbook, unfortunately, but again, it's on my Instagram, and I'll put the post here so that you can see what all of these things were about. And then this is when I was working at the Performing Arts Academy. It's kind of I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. I think I was trying to remember when people said that a heart came from the shape of a butt or something, and I was trying to figure that out, how that worked. So yeah, like this is when I worked at the Performing Arts Academy, and this as well. And this was for a book commission, a book cover commission, a poetry commission by this Palestinian American poet. And I'm not sure if she actually ever came out with a book, but I did the cover for it, and to be honest, this was my favorite one, but I think she went with something else. I can't remember which one she went with. She went out with like something that looked like maps. And I did this album cover kind of gift thing for this girl who was giving it to her friend. And yeah, this is another one of the large marker pieces. I started to incorporate other people. This is my friend Noor. Hi Noor. And we were having this conversation on our break at work. Go back. Yeah, this was for a university assignment. Not very interesting, I'm not gonna lie to you. Oh, this is for my daily hourly comics day back in 2019. Again, you can find the post on Instagram, and I will tag it here so you can see. And this is more university work. Apparently I was more interested in the drawings than the actual project, as usual. And this was in February. I tried using more warmer colors because I felt like I was only using a certain type of color palette, which I ended up not liking it because I don't like these color palettes. And this is my friend Emma. We were having a FaceTime. Hey Emma. Yep. And here is some, I think, journal parts. This is just a doodle I did in the morning from school. This is some logo designs. When I used to work at the Performing Academy, I think this was one of the last projects I worked on before I quit. And yeah, and this is for the Abolish exhibition. I was testing out different kind of styles of working with ink and marker, working ink and watercolor, and working ink on ink. And yeah, and I think for the next few pages, I worked a lot on floor plans. That's my major. These parts aren't very aesthetically pleasing, as you can tell. Some artistic masterpieces here. And this one I was planning for the Abolish pieces actually. I don't have any pieces actually. Thankfully they all sold, so I will show some pictures on the screen. This was a little sketch that I did, and here this is also, I think I actually have the original piece for this. It was called Instaman, and it was a concept of how people are obsessed with marriage and their need to basically go into the supermarket and get an Instaman or whatever. Yeah, and this is a small sketch that I did. I'm not really sure about what, but a part of me, I remember somebody once said that they wanted to see it as a sticker or an enamel pin, which I hope I can do. Again, this is some building sketches for university. I study interior architecture, if you guys don't know. And yeah. This is when I first got Posca markers, actually. I love Posca markers so much. They have the same consistency. It's kind of paint. But the only problem is that if you kind of draw on them a bit too much, they tend to dry out in not a great way. And this is something that I did. I was really into faces at the time, and this way I used to do faces. And I took out the tape a bit too harshly, so the paper is really thin right now. And I think this is also... Oh no, I basically went to this talk for this professor called Thomas Bosket, and he's from the US, but he came to Kuwait to give a talk at the American University of Kuwait, and so I was drawing out what he was saying and writing down what he was saying as well. This is some more floor plans and some math, apparently. This is another illustration, kind of sketch. I don't even know what this is, a drawing. And I was gonna draw it, like color it in digitally, because that's when I started entering that phase of coloring everything in digitally with Photoshop. You can see that phase on my Instagram. Take a shot every time I said Instagram during this video. Yeah. And I think this is something my professor said to me. Large pieces of glass and 3D space, flatten it, whatever. This is supposed to be a self-portrait at the time. And I think I was gonna turn it into a logo. I didn't. And yeah, I'm not really sure what's happening here. I think I'm trying to do a little sketch. I think these are two people kissing. I clearly did not know how to draw that, because what the hell is that supposed to even be? And I think I was gonna start doing Ramadan, like some clothes for Ramadan, which I never actually ended up doing because I ended up overwhelming myself as per usual. Yeah, I write a lot of song quotes, very cheesy. And yeah, day-to-day projects. Towards the end, it gets kind of boring. I was working on some more university stuff. Actually, I think the last few pages are just university stuff. And yeah, that's it. I think that is the end of... Wait, I think I have something here. Not sure what this is. Oh, stop blaming yourself. I did this on March 3rd. I completely forgot about it, actually. So yeah, that's this sketchbook, and then we'll move on to the next. So this is, and I think I like this sketchbook a little bit more, and this is from April to July 2019. I will be doing July to like the end, my summer sketchbook and my summer pages in another video, because I don't want this video to be too long. So yeah, this is from a SZA song. I sometimes really miss the style. This is a Brandy Melville sticker. I got this sticker from an artist in this ING festival like 4 years ago, and I wasn't even into illustration that much at the time, so I don't even remember who it was, but I remember the work was good. So just block that part out because it has my number in it. Yeah, this was on April 19. It says, couldn't give less of a fuck. Clearly I didn't. I miss how graphic my style used to be. I think I said that a million times, but yeah. I used to do these really kind of pieces, like these kind of pages where I just put random things from my day together. This is from a Coke bottle, a Sprite bottle that I was having at this ramen shop in Kuwait. And this was actually an illustration after I got into a very heated argument with my professor. Well, not really an argument, it was very one-sided from their part, more like. And I remember crying in the bathroom with my friend, and I told her, at least I'm pretty when I cry. So yeah. And this was an illustration, like a representation of this Instagram model that I saw. I think I remember her name, I'm not even sure. And then this is the lyrics of Pretty Girl from Clairo. And this is some ink. I was clearly going through it. I have no idea what I was trying to do here. But it made the page all like wrinkly. And I had this really nice illustration underneath, but it got covered because of the paint, like the ink, sorry. I wasn't really successful with it. This is when I asked people to send me kind of questions about what they wanted to see me draw in my sketchbook, and somebody wrote a dot, so I just put in a circle dot and I started drawing people into it. And it basically says, sorry for what I said when you bruised my ego. And then this is a SZA song. A lot of the next few pieces are just going to be black and white because I'll try to put in an image of how the post actually looked like when I colored it on Photoshop. So yeah. This was a SZA song. Last time I checked, you were the one that left. This was during the summer, actually. I actually have the shirt. It's from Lazy Oaf. And I wish I had this cap, but I don't have a cap. And another Instagram post. Worked on this in my final crit in university. And this one says, why won't he take no for an answer? And then basically, me and my friend had this conversation where I was basically saying to her that you deserve more. It's because he doesn't respect your boundaries. That's when I learned about boundaries, actually. I was following Florence Given on Instagram. Yeah, and this is university work. Some more. And this is one of my favorite pieces. I ended up redrawing it, actually. I'll put the original and then I'll put a redraw right here so you can see how it looks. And this was an actual conversation I had with a girl in my class. I think I was saying something to another girl and I said something like, oh, I'll try to be there, and she replied, she was like, oh, don't be so full of yourself. And then I had replied with something like, I don't remember what I said, but I remember thinking that I wish I said this, so I drew it out. And this is another post that says, trust your instincts and believe people's patterns rather than the words and grand gestures. Mindless sketch. This is more of the book cover art that I showed in the last sketchbook. This is a piece of paper that I used to dry out the other ink. Tissue, sorry, not paper. A random sketch. This is another kind of colored in piece. It says, when will the thought of you stop feeling like a weight on my chest? And then this is another one of my ultimate favorites, and which I did a redraw of. It says, but is it really my job to fix these grown men? This was an actual conversation that I had with one of my friends. This was a lino print that I made out. I was helping out at the summer camp, and so I made this lino print. It was basically, I think, out of foam or something like that. And yeah, this was a drawing of this girl that I saw on Instagram. Sorry, I have to sit down. And this is like a illustration that I did based off the song Happiness, which is an actual memory that I have with someone that I used to know, and where we were talking about the song, and the whole place felt like sunflowers. And then this is another sketchbook page of just me with myself. And yeah, and this was right after the whole Alabama abortion laws came out, and the thing is, we don't even have abortion laws in Kuwait, so I don't even know why I was so pressed about that, but I mean, we do have those kind of laws, so whatever. So yeah, when that happened, it was such a huge thing on Twitter, and it just made me think about when we will have agency over our own bodies. And it basically asked a bunch of my friends what they felt like they didn't have agency over, and everyone said something different. And this is another sketch of strangers minding their business. I really like it. And one of my friends says that they like how this person doesn't look like a girl or a boy, he just looks like a person, which I agree. And this is another piece. I never actually ended up coloring it, but I did do a redraw of it, which I'll post right here. And this was a conversation with one of my friends when she first got into a relationship, and she was basically so excited because she said that she couldn't believe how lucky she was, and she was pretty sure that she found her soulmate. Another sketchbook page. This is when I think I stopped using markers as much. I was having a huge art block at the time here, and I started drawing old motel rooms, and I said that I was trying my best, which I was. And this was this conversation I think I had with my friend Faye. I'll put her Instagram page here so you guys can see it. And we basically were discussing the concept of what if we don't become the people we thought we wanted to be. And this was actually, I think, a GIF that I ended up making, which I'll post as well here. I can find it, to be honest. I don't know if I could. I think I was trying to draw Leandra Medine here from Man Repeller. And yeah, this is the song Saw You in a Dream by the Japanese House. This is right after I cut my hair, actually, and I was looking at myself with super short hair, knowing my mom was gonna hate it, but feeling really excited because I felt like myself again. This is another random sketchbook page, another conversation I had with my friends. I think you can tell my style starts to get a little bit more cartoony here than with the squiggles that I used to do before. And this is a illustration that I did. I wanted to make a shirt out of. I've been wanting to make like apparel and stuff like that for years, but I always feel insecure about it. These were these notes that I made when I made this oil pastel painting. I had a lot of realizations here. And this is another piece that I never posted anywhere, actually. It just says refuse to settle. I thought it was going to come out differently than it ended up coming out. Sorry, I had to talk to my mom. And this is another piece. I used Posca markers only. And these were some t-shirt ideas. I ended up doing one t-shirt, which I'll post, but I never even sold it. I just kept it for myself. And then yeah, I think these are some more. These were, I started just sketching out in these instead of I started creating these actual just A4 paper drawings, and I stopped doing stuff on my sketchbook as much. So these are just some sketches for that, and conversation I had with a friend about a breakup. And we were discussing. I'll post some of the images here, but I think I'll just show you in the next video. And these are some sketches of ideas that I wanted to do, and like illustrations. And yeah, I think that's it. There's nothing left. So yeah, thank you for tuning into this video. I really appreciate it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And please stay tuned to the next video where I show even more of my sketchbooks. So yeah, If you guys like this video, please subscribe and like, and let me know what you thought in the comments. I always feel like such a YouTuber when I say that, but maybe because we actually are on YouTube.